Hello, and welcome back to the Great Game Debate podcast, where friends come together to respectfully discuss, debate, and disagree about video games. As always, I'm your host, Katie Berthay Lane, and joining me, of course, is the godfather of the debate, Jonah Gomez. How you doing this week, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
I've been
Which is one could
playing.
hope for.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that new Call of Duty beta. You asked
Okay.
me if I wanted to pitch something. That's what it would have been,
Yeah,
and so I figured it'd just fall on deaf
Call
ears.
of Duty.
Yeah. I'll just give my quick rundown. It's cool. The beta runs better than the last game that came out, so I mean that's good, I guess.
Yeah, improvement, yeah.
But it feels like a very lateral improvement versus like each game for the last like 4 years feeling
Yeah.
drastically different in gameplay and visuals and stuff. This one just feels like a 2.0 expansion, but it's good.
Gotcha.
It's good.
All right. And of course, joined by none other than Saziasi himself, Stephen Beaumont. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. I dropped 105 Australian dollars on Baldur's Gate 3 this week, and I am awaiting a return on my investment so far. It has not been a smooth experience.
What's your race? What's your class?
I am a Dragonborn Bard.
Let's go.
With like lightning breath, so like really cool. Like, you know, the role play, the dice rolling, lovely, love it. Really cool stuff. Everything else about it, not for me so far.
Let me ask you this: not that we can spend a lot of time on this. Just give me a one-sentence answer, but like. The gameplay of Baldur's Gate 3 is relatively simple to me as someone who knows D&D and compared to other CRPGs like Divinity Original Sin stuff, but as like a newcomer to the genre, is it just like still completely overwhelming for you?
The actual, you know, using moves, seeing they showed that pretty easily. You've got this many spell slots, you've got this many bard slots, and X this, that, and the other. You know, I didn't understand that every time I went back to camp, I wasn't resting, and I'm like, why can't I do my thing? Yeah. And it's like, I went back to camp. It's like, oh yeah. And then I was talking to some mates. And, oh yeah, you don't freaking, you don't jump on the couch every single time you go home to pick something up. And I'm like, why wouldn't you?
You get enough resources.
So yeah, I don't know. The UI and UI, I think they're doing as best they can, especially on the console. The UX is not really great for console. So I don't think that the scores should be identical. For the PC scores to be like 96, they should not. They may be like 90 or something. If people are loving the game, I am not loving the game yet. Like I'm at a 7-ish, you know. So let's see.
I was listening to Steven play the game a couple days ago, and
it was.
He was bad. Not having a good time.
Just imagine like accidentally executing a bunch of things you didn't mean to do.
It was mostly just
you can stuck your blood, and you're like, oh.
He was mostly ending his turn too early.
Ending turns accidentally, and ungrouping and grouping parties is not like a click of a button. It's not like simple.
Yeah. All right, well, that's Steven's week in Baldur's Gate. Mateo, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually just also had a week in Baldur's Gate, but it's like the tail end of like multiple weeks of in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. Hey, did y'all know that there are more than 151 Pokemon? I was doing a little bit of research.
What? Are you sure?
Hey, I just got some cards the other day and said 151, so I don't understand.
I mean, the last game I played was Black and White, right? There were only 150 in that game, right? I thought it was only 150. All right. Well, our special guest this week is returning guest in front of the show and voice actor Eli Farmer. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Happy to be here, y'all. And I guess, you know, for folks who can actually see if you're not doing auditory, I'm debuting my new Digimon shirt. Woo-woo, my boy Joe.
Yes.
Coolest thing ever looks.
That handle.
Yeah, and if you like it, you can actually you can pick up your own. I don't know the link off the top of my head.
Just use Google Lens on Eli. Yeah.
I'll have you send me it after the show, and then I'll get it in our description. So if you want to check out that sweet shirt, you can in the description.
Yeah, it's pretty hype.
Ooh,
I do love a
where's
Monster
this
Home
go?
shirt too.
Before we move on, I did just want to say, Eli, your episode was like really popular in our community. People just love you. You're just such like a warm and generous and like open person who's like everybody's like super, super interested on how like, transparent you are about the experience of becoming a new voice actor in the industry and like how to work your way up and everything. So yeah, thanks for taking time to come back on the show. We really appreciate it.
Dude, y'all are my good luck charms, and I think we'll talk about this a little bit later. But this whole Digimon thing happened like a month after I was on your show.
Oh,
So,
no way.
Awesome.
Yeah, when we get into the story
Yeah.
of like all of
I
that
think
stuff,
the
yeah.
producer
So
of the entire
goes both
Digimon
ways.
IP listens to us for sure.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you all stopped by the digital world and learned Harpoon Torpedo because it's time for the icebreaker. All right. Icebreaker this week comes in from community member Tongue Surgery. By the way, Kevin, Tongue Surgery there, is working on a indie game that I'm pretty sure he's making all by himself called Tempest Inc., which is kind of like, what do you call that genre? Where you're just...
Well, it's a shmup, but it's to the left. It's to the left or
Yeah.
right. But yeah.
Yeah, it's shmup to the right. And like the gimmick is really cool that you have like a party and you can switch between their ships in real like instantaneously and they
It's
all have
like
like different abilities.
almost like Mega Man,
Pretty cool.
like changing your Mega Man outfit, and they all
Yeah.
have different like health bars and all that. Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin got a demo up of that game recently on Steam. So I was playing it and it's
Oh,
pretty
really?
cool. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, it's up on
Nice.
Steam. It'll take you like 2 seconds
That's
to
awesome.
download because it's like 100 megabytes or whatever.
You
But,
can check
Nice.
that in the description as well.
Yeah. So anyway,
Cool.
the question from Tongue Surgery: what's a movie you'd like to see get a game adaptation? You got anything locked and loaded for this one, Jonah?
Yeah, and there's whispers on the wind of it. I really don't want Illumination to do it, but a freaking Zelda movie, man. Oh, I've been wanting like a legit Zelda movie for so long. That's like a childhood dream of mine, is to have a Zelda movie. But I think even if we had like something like a Splinter Cell movie, that would be so
Let's
rad.
just jump in. Did you misinterpret the question completely? Was it
Oh
movie
yeah, this
that...
is a movie you'd like to see.
Oh!
I was gonna just let him roll.
You know what?
He was doing great.
I'd like to see the inevitable Zelda movie get a game adaptation.
Yeah.
well,
there we
man.
go. There's the smooth
was
brain
Jean-
coming out real early on this episode. Jesus.
Street
Christ.
Fighter the movie, the game.
Can we add in a Patreon level where once the Zelda movie comes out and the novelization is made of it, we get Caden to read the novelization of the Zelda movie?
Movie game.
Just because we're talking about it, there's this hilarious meme I saw where somebody was making like a fake script for the Illumination Zelda movie if they're the ones that end up doing it. And it's like, Link's like walking into like Goron City and there's like his Goron buddy who's like, "Welcome to Goron City," and that song's playing. That's like, "You got mud on your face, you big disgrace." And then like a Goron like slips and like his face falls in the mud. Like it's like,
Oh God.
Yeah.
Apologies to all music fans. That is "We Will Rock You."
Yeah. My dad listened to that, Steven.
Thanks, Kate.
I
what
do
what
have
is-
a movie that I'd like to be
Okay. Redemption.
What is it? The Anita Battle Angel, the CG movie.
Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, that movie was rad.
I bet there's some weird, like, crappy Alita game that nobody's heard of that came out like 20 years ago. So.
True.
But yeah, that'd be
PlayStation
super
1.
cool.
Like if it's like
Everybody
a
wants to be
Metroidvania or
a
something.
battle robot girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
How did you know my
Steven, what do you
fantasy?
think?
Oh man, there's this really cool 90s movie that, man, I absolutely loved it. I just reckon that'd be make such a really cool video game. It's called
Super Mario Bros.
No, it's called what's it called? It's called GoldenEye. I reckon that would make a really good game.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's
I've got
neat some
good
cool
news for
set
you.
pieces.
Yeah, really cool set pieces, really cool characters.
Dude, could you
set your
imagine being
honor
Odd
tops, like,
Job in that and like just throwing your hat around?
Was it?
I don't think
not
they
in
would. I
that
don't think the
movie?
developers would put that in. I feel like it would be too unfair because like there's no way you could do the character model right.
Yeah, that's it. Height
We're not gonna
disparity.
get a single serious answer to this question. What do you got for us, Mateo?
Oh no, actually, I've been on a horror movie kick lately, and I saw that there's one
yeah.
that's releasing soon. There's this movie called Five Nights at Freddy's, and I
Oh.
think that the concept of that movie could translate so well into the video game format. Just think about it, like you're stuck in this spooky Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. All right, Eli, what do you think?
I don't want to mess up the trend, but I actually was thinking of a real movie. I think I don't know if it was done or not. Might have been one of those horrible movie tie-in games. But if it hasn't been, I think a Pacific Rim game would be really
Oh
cool.
man.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just some chunky. It could just be like an arcade fighter, like kaiju and mech. You know, that'd be sick.
Hell yeah! Another one. Yeah. Oh yes, Pacific Rim is great. As dumb as the dialogue is in those films, the action is just awesome.
You're telling me you go to Pacific Rim for the dialogue?
Sometimes. It's my acting class. No, I rewatched watched for the first time Screams 2 all the way to 5. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 just recently, and I think a Scream game maybe where it's like kind of your David Cage-ish sort of, visual novel-ish sort of game, but like where based on maybe how you progress and what happens, maybe the killer can change, the killers can change and stuff would be cool. Like, based on what red herrings you follow can alter the ending would be really interesting.
That'd be really cool.
Haven't you played Dead by Daylight
yet, have they?
Yeah, it's
Sorry?
Well, that's
Dead by Daylight.
That's an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game. That's not.
But Scream is in it.
We're talking about some Until Dawn. Yeah, that's true. Everybody's in that game at this point. Yeah, no, that's a cool idea. I don't think I've seen anybody do those like branching narrative games where you actually can like.
The killer's always the same in those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. Cool. This is kind of like a lame answer because there actually already is a video game of it, but you brought up horror, Mateo, and I was thinking about John Carpenter's The Thing, the 1980s version. Ooh. And there is actually a PS2 video game
it's like
of
a
that, but it's not very
shooter or something.
good.
Yeah,
it's a horror game, but yeah. Right. Yeah. So I pretty much wouldn't change anything about it. It still would be a survival horror game, but just like good. Like the idea of trying to survive with a group of other people and like seeing if you could like the good ending would be being able to get to the end of the game without anybody turning into a thing, but like anybody would be able to turn.
Imagine if they made an Aliens game like following the Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Interesting idea. Yeah.
Have you seen the most? No, go ahead.
My actual like serious answer was, and it's another one. It's another Caden answer because it's another one of those like, yeah, there's games that exist, but like here's the make it good, please. Indiana Jones, dude.
We're hoping. We are hoping.
We have so many indie games already, though.
But none of them are good. Yeah, we're retconning the question. We want somebody you'd like to see get a good game adaptation, high quality, 10 out of 10 game adaptation. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you, have you seen the most recent? It like came out in like 2013, but that version of The Thing.
Oh yeah, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the prequel.
All of the monsters they stole directly from Dead Space. Go back and watch it. They all look like necromorphs from Dead Space. When they go into like the full alien, they got the fucking.
Did they just use CG or did they actually use puppets? Or
it's all CG.
It's all CG. It's just like the model looks exactly like the necromorphs from Dead Space. Yeah.
Suspicious.
That's a cool movie though. Anyway, let's see. Before we move on, quickly I want to do our patron shout outs. Dan Giesland, Pucho, Wes, and Dakota Falk. Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate your support.
We've got one more.
Let me type it into my list.
It's this gentleman. It's this gentleman to my left. Thank you, Mateo, for also
Wait, are you serious?
And...
Joe and I were chatting the other night. Yeah, I was curious what the patrons get, so I went and signed up.
All right.
Give yourself a pat on the back, Mateo.
Mateo's paying himself for being a patron of his own podcast. So thank you so much, Mateo. I really appreciate it. But yeah, those Roonies we get from our Patreon go right back into the community. We try to spit up on giveaways. We should probably do something along those lines soon, you guys, some kind of giveaway. So we'll get on that. But now that we're done with the icebreaker question, we'd like to put you in the hot seat a little bit, Eli, and hear kind of what you've been up to since the last time you came on. And just a reminder to our guests, if you haven't listened to the last episode with Eli, definitely check it out if you want to hear more about his, history of how he got into the voice acting field and all that kind of stuff. But since the last time you were on the show, you kind of hinted at it a little bit so far, but I think you kind of had landed like a pretty significant role that's pretty exciting for you. So we'd love to hear about how that happened and your history with that franchise. And I'm sure you have like an NDA, so whatever you could talk about, we won't pressure you. But yeah, go ahead.
Spill the beans.
Well, yeah, what's great. What's great about this specific instance with Digimon is that these movies have been screened, and so people have seen them. Obviously, I can't go super in depth, but I can go way more in depth than like typically you could with a trailer in most cases. And so, my experience. So we rewind. I want to say I was on the show maybe February, Marchish time, somewhere around there, and I want to say it was maybe a month and a half later. So I got home from work at my day job. So I come home, I'm looking through the auditions, and then I see this thing for Digimon the movie uncut, and I was like, is this like a fan project? Is this like a death battle episode? Like, what the heck is this? Like, there's no way this is like real Digimon. Like, what's going on? And then I'm like looking through, and I was like, holy crap, this is like legitimate, the real Digimon franchise. And so then I freak out because I've been like a lifelong Digimon fan. One of the first and last movies that we ever saw as a family was Digimon the movie when it came out in theaters.
Wow.
I saw the very first episode when it aired on TV. I never missed an episode of Digimon the first season.
Man, true fan.
I distinctly remember being on a trip to visit some relatives, and I was like, hey, it's Saturday morning. I don't miss my Digimon. I need it on. This is like 7-year-old me, like, hey, this is all I'm asking for. Can you like work with me here? So I was a huge fan of the series, and I continued to watch the second season, the third season, so on and so forth. I was super excited when Cyber Sleuth came out because I was like, all right, we got a good Digimon game. Like, we're back in it, baby. Woo! One of the actual first PlayStation game that I ever asked my parents to get for me was Digimon World. I never beat it because if you didn't have a guide back then and you weren't, an adult, you weren't gonna figure it out. So little child me just was pretty much stuck with my my Sukamon, which is basically the poop Digimon. So we didn't really accomplish too much, but we had good times, we bonded and all that good stuff. But anyway, so that's a little bit about my history and interconnection with Digimon and how long I've been a fan. I used to do the coloring books with my mom, all that stuff. So I get this audition and I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, there's no way. And is this the real thing? So then I'm looking through the characters that they have on there. And I was like, I don't think I can do any of these voices, if I'm being completely honest with myself. I was like, I think they're all kind of out of my range. But there was two that I was like, I think maybe if I give it a shot. But then I had this like moment, and this is a great lesson about, just going for it. But I had this moment where I was like, they're probably going to want to hire someone who's more established, someone that can bring maybe more name value to the project. I shouldn't even audition for this thing. This is a waste of my time. It's going to be cool as a fan to, to know that it's coming and check it out, but it's probably isn't for me. And I'm sitting at the table for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, no freaking way, man. I'm not passing up on this opportunity. I sprint upstairs and I'm like, the worst that happens is it sucks and they don't call me, right? But at least you know that I tried. So I go in there. And so the two characters that I auditioned for were Greymon and then Joe Kido.
Nice.
And the reason that I auditioned for both of those characters is for those of you who may not be familiar, the original English voice actor for Joe Kido was a man by the name of Michael Lindsay. You might know him. He at one point actually voiced Amuro Ray in Gundam. He voiced Kankuro in Naruto. He was the original Kisuke in Bleach, and so he's got an amazing just track record of credits. And he had outstanding, stellar career, and everything that I could find on him, he was very much loved by his peers and co-stars in the community. So anyway, so I auditioned for both of those roles because, like, well, if you're gonna do one, you might as well do the other. And I was like, all right, Greymon, I got this. Like, whew, all right, get in there, just like get in your like scary, like, Greymon. Like, I can do this. I can do this. And then when I was reading for Joe, I was like, man, this guy's voice is like so nasally, and I don't think I can do this. And I don't know if I could like sound like, you know, little kid raspy, but also portrayed as an adult. So I sent it in, and I was thinking like, all right, I got a pretty good shot at this Greymon thing. Joe, probably not going to work out. And so then I'm sitting there and I'm like, but then again, it is Digimon, so they're probably not going to call me. But just in case, I started researching everything that I could find about Michael Lindsay and his career and all the things that he's done. And he was someone who was very much like, I would say maybe compared to his peers at that time, wasn't very forward facing. There's not a lot of interviews you can find with him. There's not a lot of like sit down sort of talk things. It's really tough. But there was one interview that I found that was like an hour long and got to hear his story. And that led me to links and all that other good stuff. So then, you know, we fast forward a couple weeks go by, and then I'm sitting at home, come home from work again, pop open the email, and then I see Marissa, our director, would like to cast you as Joe Kido in Digimon. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, no freaking way. I'm like sprinting around the house, literally right here in this kitchen. I'm like, do it.
Yeah.
And so I FaceTimed my fiance, and I was like, babe. And she was like, no freaking way, like swerving on the road. And, like, and we're like jumping up and down, and we're just screaming because she knows how much like Digimon means to me. If you look on my PlayStation right now, I think I've put in like 1,500 hours into Cyber Sleuth, probably like 1,000.
Man.
Wow.
Yeah, I've put in some time on my Digimon games. Oh, hold on, we got a little solar
Lens flare.
Hold
It's
on.
just dramatic.
Artistic lighting, yeah.
Yeah, so that was super exciting. We're jumping up and down, can't believe it. And then I'm like, all right, now it's like real. You know, you're voice matching for this character. And if it's not on the money, people are not gonna have a good time. So you better really start working on it. And so what I did was every single clip of Joe in the Digimon movies that exist in the world that was done by Michael Lindsay. There's another actor that did it, Robbie Damon. He did the voices for Try, but they weren't wanting to match Robbie. They wanted to match Michael Lindsay. So every clip of Joe in the movies that Michael Lindsay did, I put it on an MP3 file. I had it on my phone. I put my AirPods in, and I listened to it on a constant repeat loop from the time that I woke up to the time that I went to sleep. If y'all ever seen that old episode of Dexter's Laboratory where he's trying to learn French and it just like teaches him yeah. So it was basically like that. So I'm listening to this MP3 on repeat. The only times I'm taking a break are to eat and then, you know, talk to my fiance when she comes home from she's in veterinary school. So obviously we've got to debrief and love each other, all that good stuff. So they send me the email like, hey, would you like to come in to record? And they're like, oh, you know, you got a couple weeks. And I was like, I want to do it as soon as possible. And so it was like 4 days later. So like for the next, 90 something hours, I was just listening to this thing. I was doing the lines over and over and over again in the shower. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I've got it nailed down. I've got it perfect. I can do like beat for beat exactly how, you know, the closest within my ability. So then I drive into the studio and I'm like, I've done all the lines. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've got them like matched because in my brain, I'm thinking we're redubbing the original script. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, we're just doing what they've already done. I just got a parakeet. Like I just got to do exactly what he did and it'll be fine. So then I get in the booth and I see the lines and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not what I've been practicing on repeat for the past 96 hours. This is new material. And so there were some lines that were, you know, ripped straight from the original script, but then there was some new stuff as well. And then when I got in the booth, and then I think it kind of played out pretty well because I was so freaking nervous, but I was trying to play it cool. I was like, play it cool, you're professional. You don't need to know that you're like a mega lifelong Digimon fan. Like, just play cool. But our director, Marissa, is also a Turbo Digimon fan. So it worked out great. So she understood my excitement. Like, she knew how I felt. And she was very, like, just patient and, like, guiding me through the process of, like, okay, we're going to, like, do the reference track, you'll listen to it, you'll match, you'll do your version of it, right? So then we recorded all 3 movies in one session. So knocked it out,
Wow.
professional. Got it
Wow.
done. Stayed on cue.
Wild.
Yes. So we got all done in one session. And as I was going through, I felt pretty confident. And then, as we started and then as we continued to go, I got more and more confident.
Mhm.
But one of the things that tripped me up a couple of times, I'm not going to lie, was because I got to record with not literally with, but like with the original cast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So these are the people that I
Oh my
grew up
God.
hearing when I was a child
Yeah.
on TV.
That's amazing.
And so there's this part in the film where I'm talking to the main character. Well, not main. We're all main characters. I'm talking to our leader, Ty, right? So I'm talking to Joshua Seth's character, and I hear his voice in my ear, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Ty is talking to me. This is crazy. And I'm so enamored in like what's happening. I'm like, what's gonna happen next? What are they gonna do next? Oh my gosh. Not realizing you're supposed to
You
be
gotta do your
talking
lines.
next. Like, that's what's
Oh,
next
yeah.
is you're supposed to go. And so Marissa's like, hey Eli, are you still there? And I was like, oh yeah, sorry, weird audio thing. I didn't hear the beeps. We just like take that over from the top. So it was like moments like that where I just got so like caught up in the fan that I
Man,
was
that's
like,
so funny.
Man,
Yeah.
I totally forgot I was supposed to be working.
it makes me like think that you're Andrew Garfield in No Way Home, and like you're just so
Yeah.
excited to be there.
Yeah, and so then we finished the recording session, and then from there it's like, all right, now lips sealed. You can't say anything until we make the announcement. And so I'm literally just like sitting at home, like, I'm gonna explode. I cannot believe I have to like hold this inside for however
Yeah,
many
no
months.
kidding.
At that point, we hadn't gotten the update about when they were going to announce it at Otakon. So we didn't know. So it was just like, could be a year, could be 5, could be 3,000. Like, I don't know. So I just gotta like sit on it and wait. I'm sitting and waiting. And one of the things that was like kind of tough is I had this huge monumental thing happen for me personally, but then like that's a huge gold star to have on your resume of like, I voice in a
Absolutely.
billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah.
I play one of the principal characters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can't use that for marketing material. So it's like
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
even like
Man.
try to push myself with it because I can't tell
Yeah.
anyone. So I'm like, all right, so my
Man.
career
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah, so my career changed internally, like
Yeah.
as soon as I booked it and recorded, but nothing externally changed. It was exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
So can you put it
so-
on your resume now that it's like out in the out in the public and
Oh
stuff?
yeah.
Awesome.
And I didn't even have to do it. Shout out whoever runs IMDb, but they got it all taken care of.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wild now. Like if you just Google Eli Farmer, my like face pops up and it's like Eli Farmer is an American voice actor. That da 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 da. And it's like, oh,
That's so
whoa.
dope.
I was like, hey mom, Google my name, and she was like,
Yeah.
no freaking way.
That's awesome,
That's
dude.
amazing.
That's awesome.
So that was like a huge shift for me. And then, we fast forward to where we actually can make the announcement. So a couple weeks before, they had reached out to the cast and they were like, hey, y'all, we're going to put together like a little sort of sizzle, I don't know what you'd call it, opening thing for the announcement at Otakon. If you'd like to send in a little clip, just welcoming and announcing to the fans, we'd love to have you. But you don't have to do it, totally optional. So me, I'm like, yeah, of course I'm doing it. But then I'm thinking like, maybe the other more seasoned actors, who are returned to their roles, they've, been doing it for 20 years. Maybe they're not going to want to take part in it. And it'll probably just be us new people who are like really excited, right? Totally wrong. So then when I see this trailer finally come out and I see all of these voice actors that again, like I've grown up with, and then insert me like, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't believe that I'm like now next to these people that I've been a fan of for all these years. I idolized
That's so
as,
wild,
in
man.
my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just I don't know if y'all remember like back in the 90s, they used to do those like P.O. box sweepstakes things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You could like
Yeah.
write in. It's like you and a friend could win a limousine ride and a big screen TV and meet the star of your favorite show. Well, it felt like someone found my old P.O. box card and was like, here you go, kid, your dream's coming true. And so then we make the announcements and my Twitter like explodes, and I went from like, I don't know, a couple hundred followers, like just over 1,000. I thought my phone was gonna explode from like the amount of notifications and stuff. And it's just crazy, like to see my name like in news articles and things. Like, whoa, it's a whole different world, and I'm so thankful. And one of the people that I was really excited to see their response was the person that I took this role over, I don't know if y'all know this, Michael Lindsay had passed away. And so that's why they were recasting the role.
Okay.
It wasn't just because he retired. And then one of the other original 8 Digidestined, Mimi, her voice actress, Felice Sampler, she also passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another person that was going to be in the exact same position as me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to talk to them so badly because they're the only person like on planet Earth that like knows what I'm feeling right now. And so then when Elsie was able to announce that, oh, I'm the voice of Mimi, I was like, yes, companionship, someone who understands, like holding this in and the feeling, and then learning that she was a huge fan as well. And then all the new people that got to be part of it, we were all huge fans. And if y'all haven't done any like research on this project, there's so many beautiful emotional tie-ins. One that I want to plug right now because I just think it's so meaningful, and it ties into my other favorite, Radiata Stories. Bryce Papenbrook, who is the voice of Jack Russell in Radiata Stories, his father, Bob Papenbrook, he played the big, like, ultra gigantic Greymon in the very first Digimon movie. Bob unfortunately passed away as well, and so they actually got Bryce, his son, to come in and take over the role for him. So it's like just this beautiful thing of like, here's this actor, Bryce Papenbrook, who has like been in this thing that's so meaningful to me, and now I get to be in a thing that's like meaningful to him.
So crazy, yeah.
Insane. I was like, I could just die right now. Go ahead. Just, I've accomplished everything that I need to do in this world. I'm so content and happy, and yeah. So that's where we are right now.
That 6 degrees of separation thing is so weird. Like, you know, Radiata Stories is like one of my favorite games of all time, and I like know someone who's worked with like the voice actor who plays the main character of my favorite game. It's just like super crazy, but we're just so excited for Eli. Like, it's amazing to see so much growth for you since the last time you were on, and it's just really, really cool to see the torch being passed to like the next generation of voice actors, to someone who's like such a huge fan and like appreciates the IP and everything, instead of just, you know, kind of just being some random guy. And it's so cool to hear that the old veteran voice actors have been so welcoming. And so yeah, just congratulations, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's huge.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and
very
entertaining,
very wholesome story.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mateo. And I wanted to mention this as well, because I know that you all recently launched your sister project, the Great Game Debate podcast, Gaiden, right?
Yeah.
Is I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
So the other big thing that I was in is I got to be my first console game ever, Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons.
Whoa.
And so I was like, y'all had a Gaiden, I had a Gaiden in the same year. How wild is that?
That's dope, dude. That's awesome.
Man,
That's amazing.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be getting into Digimon now that our boy Eli is going to be in the re-releases of these movies. But it's funny to see this weird parallel. We were talking before the show about this streamer, Kyle Bossman, who streamed Radiata Stories, but he also is a huge Digimon fan and has streamed like Digimon World 1 and 3 and like Cyber Sleuth on his channel. I'm like, I feel like as a Radiata Stories fan, I just also need to be a Digimon fan for some reason. So.
Great overlap. You didn't even know. There's a beautiful connection.
Yeah. So
I just want to jump in quickly because of the fact that we just brought up the Gaiden. All I want to know about Double Dragon is like, how many effort noises did you have to make?
Oh my gosh, so many effort noises. It just, and so I play a character, his name is Anubis, and he's like very like, feel my power, I am Anubis, da, 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 da. So he's like exerting himself, but like cool. So,
oh yeah.
So, you could possibly find that sort of effort noises on a different site.
So yeah, lots of efforts. One of the things that was really funny is I actually had to re-record my dying noise. They were like, "More, give us more death, but cool." So that was an interesting challenge.
Dying.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
One of the things was really funny about it is my fiance, she's so loving, so supportive of everything that I do. And she was like,
I
oh
saw
my
that
gosh.
cake she made. That cake.
Yeah, she
That was
made me a
pretty
Joe
sick.
cake for my
Yeah.
birthday, which was super awesome. And so when the game came out, she's like, oh my gosh, babe, we have to get a copy of it. We have to play it. Like, I can't wait to hear you in this thing. And I'm like, it's mostly just efforts. Like, I'm not actually doing a whole lot of dialogue. She's like, I don't care. Let's do it. So we put the game in. And so in Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons, you actually get to pick which order you fight the bosses in. She's like,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
fighting
cool.
you first. Let's do it.
Nice.
So we do my level. We get there, and I literally am just like, what did I say? I'm like, praise Anubis. And that's it. And she noises. And she's like, that's it? It's over?
Aw.
I was like, well, I mean, it is the first level, so it should be easy, you know.
Yeah, no.
Go through it, but again, she was just like, I cannot believe, like, we can go to the store and pick up something
Yeah.
that like you are in, you know.
But
That is-
can't you
so cool.
unlock all the enemies as usable characters? So you can
Yeah,
technically
you
use
can.
Anubis. Yeah.
We could
You
play as
can
Eli.
play as me. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can play as me.
Yo! Well, that's sick. So Double Dragon, is it Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons?
That's right. Double Dragon
And
Gaiden,
that's,
Rise of Gaiden.
that's
or
out now,
Rise of the
right?
Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
That's out now, available on all platforms.
Nice. And then do you know when the releases of the Digimon movie with the new dub are coming out?
Yeah, so Discotech has not announced when those will be available to the general public and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
what I will say is, if you want to, have the latest information, follow Discotech Media on Twitter. They actually have a stream coming up soon where they're going to be talking about fall releases and all that good stuff. I don't
Nice.
have any insider information, but I would just say, if I had to guess, that's probably what I would take a peek at. Might get lucky, they might say something about Digimon.
Cool. And while we're plugging social media and stuff, where can people follow you and your work and stuff if they want to?
Yeah, super easy. It's the Eli Farmer. Again, that's the Eli Farmer on Twitter and Instagram, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so
Nice.
And
not
IMDb now as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and if you're looking for my website, you can go to elifarmer.com. Again,
Nice.
super easy, or just Google Eli Farmer. There's not a lot of us, so it'll pop right up.
Eli Farmer IMDb page bookmarked. All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for sharing your story with us, Eli. And with that, I'll turn
My
things
pleasure.
over to Jonah, the judge, for the debate.
Welcome back to the debate, and we've got a monster battler episode today with Eli representing Digimon versus Steven representing Pokemon in the ultimate monster battler debate. We also have Caden as our assist trophy, and
Digits whole world. Isn't that what they say?
and Eli as our guest. Would you like to start or close the debate today?
Oh, let me close. Yeah. let me close.
Ooh, all right. Steven, that means you've got 2 minutes on the clock, sir. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay. Pokemon. The biggest media franchise in the world. This is literally one of the most important franchises in my life. I just recently did a side quest with Fun and Games podcast explaining why I love Pokemon so much and Pokemon Red and Blue. Like it was my first RPG. It sort of taught me systems of turn-based, RPGs and stuff like that. Pokemon is a cozy game. It's somewhere you can go back to for a warm blanket. You're just going to find some, amazingly cute things. Like for people that are watching the video podcast, I'm currently going to show you this absolutely amazing Pikachu that's just riding a surfboard. Like in really simple art. On the TCG has some of the most amazing art. Like when I look at other TCGs, I sort of feel like secondhand embarrassment for them because they're still so indentured in one art style, whereas Pokemon is so broad. Like they have people that make stuff out of wool and knitted stuff, and then claymation, and then like traditional art, and then 3D art, and it's phenomenal like how many different artists they get to do art for Pokemon. So it's really cool. You can track some of your favorite artists. But yeah, man, Pokemon, it has the best goobers. Look at this goober. Like, Greninja is wearing a tie that's made out of his tongue. Like, what? How gross is that? That's so cool. And it's a ninja. Like, look at this goober. It's Mewtwo. Or, you can't copyright strike me, Akira Toriyama. This isn't Sal. You know? Man, Pokemon's just dope.
Time.
The straight childlike gushing strategy.
I was about to say, I love wholesome little kid Steven.
This guy, dude. Scoober. That's so cool. He's my favorite.
I have always referred to Pokemon as Pokemans. I might steal Goober now. I might use Goober from going forward.
All right. Eli, you got 2 minutes on the clock for your opening statement. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Sure. All right. So when I think about Pokemon, Digimon, I don't like to think about the verses. I don't like to make it ugly because they can both exist in their own beautiful way. But I look at them as like the red pill and the blue. I think of it as like the red pill and the blue pill in the Matrix, right? Pokemon is you take it and you get to stay in your nice, beautiful fantasy world. There's no stress. It's as good as it's gonna be, and you don't have to deal with the weight and the hardship of reality, where that's where Digimon is. Digimon is a series that you will grow with, a series that will push you and guide you as you go through real challenges in your life. The first season of Digimon tackles things like, divorced parents. It tackles things like kids being adopted. It's a world where in which you actually have to care for your partner. Otherwise, they will die, In the Digimon games, you have to feed them. You have to let them sleep. You have to let them rest, or there's real consequences. Or if you just treat them badly, they might digivolve into Skull Greymon instead of Metal Greymon, and nobody wants that. Or the penalties for being cruel and harsh to your Pokemon are maybe there's an episode where you look like the bad guy and then you get blasted off into the stratosphere and then land safely with no real consequences to you. But outside of that, there's no real drawback to being cruel and awful to your Pokemon like there is in Digimon. So it's more of a real world parallel, and I feel like it teaches kids more real world applicable lessons.
30 seconds.
And kids, teenagers, adults, everyone can kind of jump into Digimon and feel something and feel that connection there. So that's where I look at it. For me, the high point of Digimon is something that it feels like it pushes you. You can take real world lessons and apply them to whatever it is that you might be going through. And everyone has a trait that is unique to them that makes them special. And there is no one that is superior to the other.
Ooh. Leaving it there?
That's my time.
Leaving 5 seconds on the table. Love it.
Digimon is the Dark Souls of Pokemon, confirmed.
Oh, man.
Now you're speaking my language.
Strong openers from both contestants. Mateo, how are you feeling about this debate so far?
I'm disappointed that Steven has not mentioned anything about the how the entire world of Pokemon is run on caged animal fighting, basically. So I'm hoping he gets into that a little bit.
In a positive way.
News to everyone. Mateo is really into dogfighting, but that is not... I'm just kidding. Let's get back on the rails. Steven, you've got 2 minutes on the clock for your rebuttal.
And I'm going to use Caden at the end, please.
Caden at the end, all right. At the end of your time, Caden will roll right into you. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Okay, so I've got many things to bring up about this. But let's first of all, I'd always like to do safety first. So we have first-hand account that Digimon endangers lives. Real lives. Digimon, having a conversation about Digimon on a car phone almost caused a mass casualty incident with Eli Farmer's fiance. So, like, how can you ever support any sort of, project like Digimon, like, any sort of thing that can endanger actual lives? you'd never see that with anything like Pokemon Go or anything. Let's just keep moving on. Now I want to just talk about just how ridiculous Digimon is and how its evolutions are so ridiculous. In Pokemon, you know what you're gonna get. If you start out with a four-legged kitten Pokemon, you know it's going to evolve into a bipedal furry that just keeps Rule 34 alive for another year. You know that. When you get that little kitty, you know. Whereas in Digimon, it goes goo to kitten to gun.
30 seconds.
And there's just no actual, logic behind the evolution. It's like, I want to know I'm getting my furry back. Please. I need to know that. And then, man, if only I actually prepared for these and I remembered what my statements were in my head 2 seconds ago. The other thing about Digimon, brings the worst out in people. I owned the original Digimon little keyring thing. Oh no, I gotta do this thing! Damn it, I'll do it in my ending. You'll find out next time on Dragon Ball.
Out of my sis trophy case. So we were talking about it earlier, but just from a video game perspective, oh man, the Digimon video games, at least the older ones, are just insanely difficult. You have to have a guide to play those games. It's like they're not made for children in mind, ironically. You talk to someone and he says, he gives you a random piece of information. You have to literally just scour the entire game world. When you're doing random battles, it's like every Digimon is easy, and then one just comes out and it one shots your entire party, and you lose all your game progress.
All right. I don't quite understand what happened at the end there. I think it was just rushing for time, but it just felt like words were being spat at me. But that's okay.
Have we ever had a cliffhanger in the middle of a debate before?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm very curious as to where Steven's going with All right, Eli, are you wanting to use your assist trophy as well in this part?
Yeah, why not? I'll save it at the end.
Save it at the end. All right, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Caden will roll right into you. 3, 2, 1, debate. Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to address the danger of Pokemon here, because for those of you who may or may not know, I encourage you to research the Porygon episode. That is the reason why we have dimming in so many anime nowadays, because of the dangers of seizures as a result of epilepsy because of Pokemon. So as far as danger goes in real-world applications, Pokemon is infinitely more dangerous than Digimon as far as the track record goes. Just want to get that out of the way. But then going to the other point where we talk about you don't know what you're getting with the Digimon, and that speaks to the uniqueness and the individuality of the partnership that you have with your specific Digimon. If you love them and you raise them and you train them in a specific way, you might get a gun, you might get a turtle. You don't know, because it's all about the bond that you have with your Digimon, as opposed to when you get your Pokemon. It's mass produced. It's factory settings. You know what you're going to get because it's not special. It's not unique to you outside of its one purpose, which is battling. Because then you talk about EVs and IVs and that kind of thing. But Digimon are so much more than just battling. They can talk. They can communicate. They have personalities, hopes, dreams, thoughts, and feelings that they can express to you in a language that you understand. So the partnership and the communication that you have with your Digimon is so much more authentic than the relationship that you have with Pokemon. So I will stand on that point that the relationships with Digimon are deeper and more meaningful than the relationships with Pokemon. Hayden, what you got for me?
Ooh. All right, so on the complete opposite of the spectrum of difficulty are the Pokemon video games. He was going to hate me for this one, but holy crap. You can just take your starter, never catch another Pokemon, just go through every single battle with your starter. You'll be massively over-leveled for every fight in the game. You'll be level 100 by the time you get to the Elite Four, the Pokemon Champion. And all you got to do is hit the A button and spam the same attack over and over again. It doesn't even matter if they have resistance. It's the easiest, mindless, just most insanely boring design for 10-year-olds that I've ever seen in my life, and I just want a difficult Pokemon game, please.
Eli, you got 25 seconds. You want to stop it there?
I got 25 seconds?
Yeah, you got.
All right, I'll come back in.
Okay.
Boom. Coming back in there. So one of the things that I wanted to follow up with the difficulty component of it is that yes, Digimon is hard because again, the real world is hard, and it's supposed to mirror real world challenges that you have to overcome, building that tenacity, building that resiliency, building that grit, and you'll get that with Digimon.
Time. Dang. Said like a professional. Gotta love it.
Damn.
Gotta love it. All right, we're gonna go into our final round. The closing thoughts. Steven, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Man, Pokemon is so much more than just battling. You can make puffins with your Pokemon. You can make them sandwiches. You can go on picnics with them. You can rub their cheeks to make them happy. You can wash them. You can feed it. Like, you can do all the things you could do in Digimon, but you don't have to do that to make sure they survive. But they will love you more if you do that. The coolest thing about like late stage Pokemon games is the more that a Pokemon likes you, it can actually like get rid of status effects just because it's like, oh man, I'm gonna tough it out, or they can hold on to 1 HP because they just love you so much. So like that's like where it shows like you do build relationships with your Pokemon. And I want to just come back addressing the previous episode of Dragon Ball Z was the fact that Digimon brings out the worst in people, because I owned the original Digimon like little keychain game. And you know, we were taught, oh yeah, pull out the battery and put it back in right after 6 seconds, you get Teddymon and all this sort of like backyard bullshit. And so then, of course, my Digimon thing broke. But then, because they become a hot commodity, someone was like, "Oh, can I buy your Digimon thing?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, $10." Tell him it was broken. And like, imagine, I would never do that with Pokemon, but I had just like, you know, I was a horrible person giving a broken Digimon toy. So like, Digimon did that to me.
30
seconds. It's real world, and the real world's a terrible place, whereas Pokemon is a beautiful place full of beautiful people. I don't know, I was just about to go into And the Days Go By song, like, this is not my beautiful house, this is not my beautiful house. I don't know how that sort of like relates to Pokemon exactly. Oh my god, but I love Pokemon so much. It's the greatest ever. I love catching all 1,000 of the bastards.
Time. All right,
Steven
and
interrupts his own closing statement.
Yeah.
I just want
Pokemon,
everyone to
those
know,
bastards.
for the record, furries are good people.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
Eli, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So I wanted to finish with just noting the beauty of Digimon games and their progression. The Digimon franchise is a franchise that takes risk. Some of them they hit, some of them they don't. But because of that, I find that they're way ahead of the wave as opposed to a series that doesn't take those same risks, right? Digimon World 1, you've got a Digimon that can follow you around in the overworld. Different models. We didn't see that from the Pokemon series until Heart Gold and Soul Silver. You had Pokemon Yellow, but only Pikachu could follow you around. Digimon, it could be Agumon, you could have Gabumon, you could have Tyrannomon, you could have Megadramon, all these different models, so you get to feel like your little special Digimon was with you and connected with you. And then when we go up to, let's say, Digimon World 3, you got 3 little models that are following you around. You've got 3-on-3 battles. And that is in what, the early 2000s? We didn't get triple battles in Pokemon until what? Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, X and Y. Again, this is like a 10-year gap. Digimon is paving the way. They are making changes that Pokemon isn't even conceiving because they're playing it safe in their little box. Another one that people don't think about a lot, if y'all remember, X and Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, that little feature called Mega Evolutions, where it was a slightly different, more powerful version of the same Pokemon. You know what had that first? Digimon with X evolutions, War Greymon X, Imperial Dramon, Ulforce V Dramon X, all of these different Digimon that you can
30
have.
seconds.
And again, Digimon hit that first because they took risk, they found a way to diversify and continue to pave new roads because they weren't afraid to get outside of the box. And you gotta respect that. You gotta respect someone who's willing to take a chance to be great. And that's what Digimon teaches you. Take a risk, have courage, and also sometimes be reliable.
Love it. You leaving it there?
That's where I'm gonna end it.
All right, leaving
That was
10
hot.
seconds
Damn.
on the table. What a closing statement, dude. Oh my goodness. Mateo.
I'm just gonna say it before you drop it on me. That was a fucking sweep. I feel so bad. I didn't talk about the TCG and a whole bunch of the movies or anything.
You showed us
and I got swept. Like, that was crazy.
Mateo, I want to as our viewer of the debate, let's get your thoughts.
Let's see. We'll go through some of my notes here. Pokemon definitely gets the edge according to Steven in Rule 34. So, that's definitely a point for Pokemon there. We have established on this show that Rule 34 is a valid defensive data, apparently. The debate with the debate cliffhanger was interesting. Steven really loves Pokemon. That is rad. That first part of the debate with just wholesome Steven, that was one of my favorite bits of Steven that I've seen so far. Honestly, Digimon just sounds rad. I don't quite understand this evolution table because all I've got so far is Goo to Kitten and then to either Gun or Turtle. But I think I've got to give it to Digimon just to figure out what happens next.
Caden, as the assist trophy, let's hear your vote and your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Steven. You know how it is.
It is.
If we were basing it off of maybe the opening statement, like just your pure, like unadulterated, like childlike joy of Pokemon and like just showing off like the card art, like maybe what had it. But yeah, Eli, you just brought like so many like well-structured and explained arguments. And I now have this image of like whoever the hell the game director is for Pokemon games, like they're like, their employee comes like, boss, we need some new gimmick for this Pokemon game. What do we do? And he's like, just go see whatever the hell Digimon was doing 10 years ago. Like, yeah, you get my vote, Eli. That was a really great debate.
I'm gonna follow suit. I'm sorry, Steven. What really took it though? Like, I was really on the fence. After your rebuttal, Steven. Like, I thought that was a really good rebuttal. But then Eli brought in Eli brought in for the second time on this show's history the seizure episode of Pokemon.
yeah, we've had that occur in a debate before. That was Pikachu versus Palamutes for like best animal companion in a video game. I think. So.
And so that killed me. And then Eli's closing statement, just grand slam.
That was like a presidential speech.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So Eli's taking my point as well. Full sweep of the panel. Congratulations, sir. Absolutely killed it.
Pokemon.
And would you guys like to reflect at all on the debate? Eli, you got any words?
I just wanted. Oh yeah,
Steven, I want to see more of your sick art. I want to see more of those cards.
Yeah, there's
splasher cards.
Some dope art. Yeah, I gotta get my. Yeah, I had my photos. Just like went to the bathroom before, and I just quickly grabbed a couple cards out. There's just so much jolliness in them. It's really good.
Steven, if you give your breakdown, I'm gonna get some Digimon cards. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. It was actually Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. So if I got the name of the song right, I feel like I should have won.
Yeah, that threw me off track. Yeah.
You did have to take some points off. Yeah.
I was curious. I looked it up, expecting maybe a few hundred. Like, if you guys had to guess how many Digimon there are, because I just assumed it would be relatively small compared to Pokemon because it's just not as popular of an IP, but I guess it's been around almost just as long.
I feel like Digimon's a meme, so I'm going to go for a 420.
Ooh.
Okay.
But it's actually 420.69. There's actually 40,000.
Well, hilariously, it's 1,469. So we got the 69.
Yes.
Yeah, there's almost 50% more Digimon than Pokemon. Like, I had no idea there are that many Pokemon. I mean, Digimon.
I wonder why they're just like, gun. Just like literally stapler.
Yeah. Now I have to say, watching Kyle doing that Digimon World 3, it's like he's got, I think it's Guiamon or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he evolves into Growlmon, and he's just like the same guy but bigger. And then there's War Growlmon, it's the same guy but he's a mech. But then it evolves into Angemon, and now he's just like a sexy human woman. It's like branches. It's like I just don't know how this little raptor
Still
guy turns into a sexy
one of
angel.
Like the best payoffs in anime history is Patamon turning into Angemon. Like that is just such good payoff.
Actual arc. Yeah. All right, guys, start flashing your cards. What do we got, Eli?
Oh, okay. All right. So we were here. I wanted to address the folks. I don't want to open any boxes that you didn't know you had, but Rule 34 here. We're gonna start with Lilithmon.
Oh,
You don't get this. You don't get this in Pokemon, kids.
Damn.
yeah.
That's no
that is
subtlety
not-
there.
That is not a natural creature, an animal from the natural world. That is
Yeah.
look at the sexy adult woman in the digital world.
Then just general cool. We got my boy Arrow Vidramon. Look at him.
that dude looks sick.
moving along
Arrow
with all the little
Vidramon.
Digimon.
Okay.
That makes me think of like
Vidramon.
it's almost like a Zoid. It looks dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we want to go cute. Who is cuter than Tiny Wormon eating an apple?
Oh.
Yes.
Move over, freaking Wurmple or Caterpie. We don't need you guys.
Mm.
And then I gotta give some props to my partner Digimon. Well, his champion form, my boy Kakumon with the harpoon torpedo. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, just wanted to bring that full circle. So yeah.
Sick.
But as far as reflecting on the debate goes, that was fun. I love this, and also as any true blue Digimon fan will tell you, the reason why we're so much more prepared is because we've been having to defend ourselves since.
You thought he'd just roll in.
This is just another Wednesday.
This is just
Sunday
living in the real world for a Digimon fan.
It's just
Yeah. I wanted to bring up the theme songs, and I'm like, but they're both absolute bangers. Like the season ones are both like 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, and then one thing I also wanted to say for Digimon fans, there is not an Imperial Dramon X. I know that. I slipped, so don't come at me, Digimon fans. I know that doesn't exist.
Don't send in your corrections.
Talking about the theme songs, I thought about this today. Y'all, because I know obviously the American version of both of them, and I'm a Digimon fan, and I know that Butterfly, which is like so synonymous with Digimon, and as the Japanese opening song, right? Do y'all know
Crazy Town?
What's the opening Japanese song of Pokemon? I don't think I've ever heard it.
No idea.
no, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, so if we do Japanese tracks, I also think Digimon wins in terms of theme songs.
He's just kicking him when he's down.
I'm all here for it.
All right, Joda. What about last week's debate?
Last week's debate, we had our D&D / Baldur's Gate debate or character debate with Ryan representing Bards versus Caden representing Hank the Paladin. It was a vicious, brutal battle, and leading by 5 points was Bards 10-5.
Ooh.
Do you have the names of everyone that voted for the Bard? Because I think Hank the Hell Knight might.
He's coming for him. Yeah. I think this is going to be your situation, Steven, next week, because nobody's going to listen to the debate and just everybody's going to vote for Pokemon, so you'll win anyways.
But you know what? We got Eli out here fighting the fight for Digimon.
Oh, yeah. On the front lines.
I always trust in the unwashed masses.
And if you'd like to vote, you can go to the Cast Your Votes channel on our Discord, and we'll have this up as soon as we post this episode. And with that, we'll move on to the pitch.
All right, folks, it is now time for the pitch, wherein a handful of us panelists will have 2 minutes to make an elevator pitch on a mystery game we've been playing, and the rest of the panelists will decide if they will buy the game or not based off of the pitch. This week, myself and Eli will be stepping up to the pitcher's mound. I shall nominate myself to go first as I walk dramatically with the anime close-up up to the pitcher's mound. Will you please?
Dude, you had every
count me down,
opportunity
Joe.
to be like, and I will go first.
Yeah.
I've seen some glasses that they make that actually do like the anime like gloss over.
Yeah.
LEDs in them, and they're like touch activated and like just bright. Yeah, it's really hilarious.
All right, you got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
All right, this game, very in keeping with this episode, is a monster catcher / tamer game. You start out as a kid who's run afoul of like a terrorist organization, and they throw him in their little prison. But he sees they got little monsters in the prison there, and there's another kid in there who they've also kidnapped. And you're like, let's work together to break these monsters out, and maybe the monsters will help us defeat the terrorists. And I pick the one monster that's like a little like dragon guy that like incubates in the ground and then like turns into a dragon, and we like kick the shit out of the terrorists, and then he becomes my rival. And of course he picks like the one that's like the weakness of my guy. So there's like the whole, you know, very Pokemon-esque like typing advantage thing going on. And what this game has that your average, say, Pokemon game doesn't is it's got difficulty options. So you can play it like a regular, if you're like a 10-year-old kid or whatever, you just get your one creature, you power level it, you just smash through the game and have a good time. But it's got several difficulty modes. Like there's like easy, normal, difficult, expert, and like insane. That's literally like, you will not enjoy this, don't play it. And, like, difficulties require you to actually delve into the deeper mechanics of like customizing your creatures and maximizing their stats and like getting the best moves, or like you just can't progress in the game. So like that challenge is there
30
for
seconds.
you know, like longtime fans that have turned into adults of other monster catching games. And it also has things like, this is like a turn-based, level-based game, so you can like turn on a difficulty setting. So there's also like modular settings, almost like the draconian mode things in Dragon's Quest. And one of them is that you can't, the game level caps you until you defeat like the bosses throughout the game. So it's like you'll never be able to make your creatures stronger than the bosses, and so you have to make like a balanced team with good tactics. Yeah,
That's super interesting. Actually,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, especially just saying, there's, you said like 5 different difficulty levels. That's the sweet spot, because of the fact that like when people are asking for more difficult Pokemon, it's like you need a multitude, because you definitely need to find that sweet spot where it's like, yeah, you are using, you know, status affecting moves and using Pokemon that have like healing abilities and stuff like that. Just so
one thing
that
I'll point here too is there's a lot of quality of life in this game compared to say like a Pokemon game, because it's like a pain in the ass in a lot of Pokemon games to like train your Pokemon. But at this game, they have these places called battle houses, and there's just like opponents in the battle houses that are focused on like, if you fight this specific person, it'll only increase the attack of your monsters. If you fight this specific person, it'll only increase your defense, and you can just fight them as much as you want. So it's like you do on the higher difficulties need to grind to like perfect your monsters, but they make it easy and accessible.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mateo, how are you feeling about this game?
It sounds pretty cool. I mean, so I'm not like a huge Pokemon person, but there is a lot of love in me for that game. And I recently tried to get into like Cassette Beast, and it didn't quite scratch the itch that I had.
Didn't quite scratch it for me either. And I played co-op as well. But yeah.
So yeah, this sounds interesting. I think I'm in.
Oh hell yeah, that's not right. I thought you were just gonna say this genre's just not for me.
No, it sounds rad. I can't
cool.
wait to see Pokemon take the that difficulty setting that you were talking about in about 10 years or so and put that in their games.
One quick question before I say I'm in or not. What's the hour count on this game?
Ooh, I guess it depends on the difficulty. I think I'm about halfway through the game, and I think maybe I've got close to like 20 hours, but I'm playing on one of the harder difficulties, like the level cap, and of course if you could just mash through it on easy, you know, it's probably going to be closer to like a 15 or 20 hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bite. You've sold me on several turn-based RPGs, and I've always like usually come out pretty hot on them. So
always usually.
Yeah.
All right, where do you sit, Steven? You biting?
I definitely am. I definitely want to give it a look. I always find that I don't have the longevity for a Pokemon clone as much as with Pokemon, because of my entire life story as Pokemon. You know.
I just rather play Pokemon. I get you.
So yeah, so it's just it's tricky, because I really love Monster Sanctuary and I want to go back to. I've played multiple hours of that.
Sick.
But then it just, sometimes you just stop, and I just don't have that love that draws me back to it. And
I can see that. Yeah. Just play it for the love of it.
And same with cassette boost. Like my son has asked a couple times to play it, but it's pretty brutal for especially for a younger kid, because I have to tell him exactly what to do, otherwise we will wipe pretty quickly. But yeah, so definitely I'll check it out for sure.
What do you think, Eli?
I'm down. You had me a monster.
All right. Well, Steve, I've got good news for you. How you don't have patience for Pokemon clones. This isn't a Pokemon clone. It is a Pokemon game. It's a community-made Pokemon hack of Fire Red called Pokemon Unbound, and it's free.
Ooh,
That's so
Unbound.
funny.
Nice.
That is like the only Pokemon game that I've actually played is Fire Red.
Oh my
God, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Fire Red. Oh, there you go. That's funny.
So,
Great art style of Fire Red. I like that.
yeah, I came out of this game because now that I have a baby, I need a lot of like turn-based games that I can play with one hand. So I was like, let me play a Pokemon game on an emulator. But then I was like, it's been like probably 8 years since I looked at Pokemon hacks. There's probably been,
Oh, yeah.
so many that have come out. So I looked at a bunch of lists, and this was like the number one that you should play on like a lot of lists. And
Nice.
it's so cool. It's like all original. It's like a completely new region. It's a completely
Awesome.
original story. It has all of the Pokemon and all the game mechanics up to Generation 8. So you get like Z
Wow.
moves and like Mega
In
evolutions.
sprite art?
Yeah, so the community has
Ooh.
made sprite art of all the Pokemon up to Gen 8. And like the best
That's
example I can give
crazy.
you is like a Alolan Exeggutor. Just looks like a freaking dope in like 3D with that long neck. In the sprite art, he's got this crazy sprite where like his neck
It's
is like
bending over.
twisted over, the hair's all out, and he's got this crazy face. So like it's just a monumental effort from the community to take all
That's
those Pokemon
crazy.
like Gen 5 forward and like make sprites of them. But yeah, as I said, a big draw for me is like the difficulty. And since I'm playing on an emulator, when I need to like grind, I could just put it on 10 times speed, and just
Yeah.
like in 15 minutes I've like maxed out my Pokemon or whatever. The game also has New Game Plus, where after you beat the game you can carry a team of 6 into the New Game Plus with like all of their like natures and abilities and EVs and Mega Stones and Z crystals and stuff. So
That's cool.
I'm just like, good.
I love the idea of the level capping before.
Yeah, it's so
gym leaders,
good.
just so that it makes it.
Ah.
Because like when I played a Nuzlocke recently, definitely
Mm-hmm.
made like at first you sweep, and then you get to the midpoint of the game, and you go, holy shit, I don't have the right Pokemon, and everything goes to shit.
Exactly,
And that's
yeah.
like awesome in Nuzlocks, but like you still don't have a level cap in Nuzlocke unless you
Mhm.
play super strict rules. So yeah, I like the level capping idea.
I think that's led to it having like my favorite Pokemon experiences. Like right now, I'd say like this is the best Pokemon game I've ever played, and it's not even an
Yeah.
official one. But the mid
Wow.
point of the game is kind of where they really kick the difficulty up, and you get access to like customizing your Pokemon and changing their abilities and natures and stuff. But the middle gym leader is normal type, but it's a reverse typing
Oh.
gym. So like his normal Pokemon suddenly become insane because the only thing that damages them is like ghost type, and then they
Oh,
like
really?
are either immune or take
So they
like
invert?
standard. Yeah, so
Yeah, wow.
he's suddenly got all these crazy strong normal types, and like it's so hard that he only has 4 Pokemon, and with a team of 6, like he kept beating my ass, and I had to go and like, okay, let me write down which Pokemon he has, what moves they have, let me like curate a
Wow.
team and train my team up, and then when I came back and kicked his ass, I was just like, let's go. These Pokemon.
So you're
Just,
saying
like,
it's
really-
the Dark Souls of Pokemon.
Yes. The reason I've enjoyed this experience so much is it proved to me that I actually do like Pokemon, and it has like really good game mechanics, but like you
Not
just
from
never get to
Pokemon Company.
meaningfully
you don't have to touch them, yeah.
yeah, you just don't need to engage with them in the official games unless you're playing competitive. So it's been
Yeah.
really cool.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Pokemon Unbound, check it out.
I think we'll move on to
It's rad.
our next pitch, which is Eli. Step on up to the pitcher's mound. You've got 2 minutes on the clock, sir. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so the game that I have been playing as of late is a game that has a beautiful art style, especially considering the power of the device that it was on. This game is on a handheld system, a very popular handheld system that many of you probably might have in your home right now. But it has art done by a very prominent artist, Akira Toriyama. It is a game in which you can design your own character and make them to look and appear however it is you like. You also get to design your party members. You get to do a party of 4, and you can customize them and make them look however you like as well. There's all types of different weapon classes and skill trees that they can learn. And there's this really cool feature in the game where you can actually switch between classes at any point. So if you're tired of being a warrior, you can become a mage. Tired of being a mage, you become a thief. And what's cool about it is the points that you put into those skills in that specific class carry over to the other classes. So you can max out your warrior skill and then become a mage who has like crazy high strength and defense. So not only can you do magic, you're like a battle mage as well. Or if you want maybe a priest that can have like, you know, infinite MP pool and heal everybody and is also really fast. You can make like a martial artist priest. And it's a game that has so many hours of just engaging content, tons and tons and tons of free DLC, which is super awesome that everyone loves. It really takes advantage of the system's ability in that it encourages local play, encourages long distance wireless play, and there's incentives to do that. Like there's little treasure maps that you can find in certain people's worlds that you can take back to your world that unlock secret bosses and special armor. And a really cool feature is if the bosses are too easy, you can give them the experience after the battle to make them tougher for the next time when you fight them if you want a real challenge.
Wow.
Damn.
That's it. That's all I gotta say,
like
man.
leaving
You
like
throw the bloody rag on the boss, you're like, clean yourself up. Next time, chill.
Whoa, this game sounds cool. What's the game? Is it turn-based RPG?
This is a turn-based RPG.
Nice.
I
So I can play it
think
with
I
one
know
of
what this is, and if I
have
do
no
know what
idea.
this is, it
Yeah.
had possibly the most laugh out loud bad marketing campaign when it was coming out. I remember
Aw.
simply because I just remember, I don't know if it was like some movie star or something at the time. It could have been like Edward Furlong before he, you know, had
Yeah,
progressed
sure.
or something, and it was like, oh, see this character? I'm putting on the red pants. That protects him from fire. And it was just like, what is this? I don't know if this
Someone
is
who's
this
never
game.
played a video game before? Let me
But when
explain
you
it to you.
but you say Akira Toriyama on handheld, it's like there's only 2 games that I can actually think of. So, but I'm definitely curious. I love job systems. Well, I don't have that much experience, but playing Bravely Default 2 was so much fun with job systems and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest draw for me, like a robust free-form job system plus Akira Toriyama art. You know,
you
I'm
had
in,
me
I'm
at
in.
Battle Mage. I'm in. Battle Mages are so rad.
Yeah, this sounds sick. I'm in. We'll figure. Let's figure out what it is so I can go and add it to my wish
Can be
list.
Oh my god.
You're gonna have to go to eBay. I
The
think.
game. This
So,
game
yeah,
is one
Eli.
of the highest selling, actually might be the most highest selling game in the franchise. This is Dragon Quest 9
Oh,
Yeah,
What?
it is. Yeah.
on the Nintendo DS.
Bro.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. That was DS, not 3DS.
I
That
did
was
not
DS.
know
just-
that Dragon Quest 9 was
Wow.
like this, because those games usually have rigid character progression. So
Yeah, man,
that's
you gotta
exciting.
look. Gotta
Gotta
look
check
up.
this
Like,
out.
there was definitely an old trailer. I can't remember who the actor was. Maybe it was like
It's
Kieran
Seth-
Culkin or something. But like,
Yeah,
it
okay.
was
Seth, I think his name is Seth Green.
Seth
Oh my
Green,
God.
maybe.
Seth
Yeah,
Green.
that makes sense. That makes
Holy
sense.
crap.
Yeah,
I can just see it in my head. Like,
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember it was like it was the worst way to market a good game. Like,
They also had, funny enough, they had y'all ever watch The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? They had Dylan and Cole
Yeah.
Sprouse. They were also part of the marketing
Oh,
campaign.
what the heck?
Uh,
Well,
I think
that's
they
cool,
also
dude.
maybe
Yeah.
had Brenda Song as well. They had
Okay.
all these celebrities pop in and do
Yeah.
little spots for them.
yeah,
Disney stars. That's funny.
I'm contemplating like the branching paths of my immediate future, and like there's part of me that like somehow wants to like try to make time to like keep up with like all of these like insane like AA and AAA releases that are coming out, and I'm like so far behind already from the past 2 years. There's so many games I haven't been able to play, like Resident Evil 4 and like Dead Space, and like, you know, I'm not gonna get to Alan Wake 2, I'm not gonna get to Spider-Man, but now I'm just like,
What
maybe
about
I
all
should
these
just, like-
old games?
Yeah, it's like just forget it. I'm just gonna be like a retro niche gamer, just play
Yeah.
Pokemon hacks and Digimon and like Dragon
Yeah.
Quest emulated on my computer. Like,
Yeah.
One thing I will say, Caden, though, is you might want to hold up a little bit because Dragon Quest IX is the only Dragon Quest game that has not been remade despite its sales.
Mhm.
So there's rumblings that's the next
And that
big.
Okay.
All
That would
right.
make sense. Like, especially, man, if they hit quick, they could do it before the Switch like goes over, like it's
Mhm.
sales sort of edge, like because it's right on that tipping point.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, sick. All right. Well, thanks so much to me and Eli for pitching these games. Check them out. We got, I guess these are for the PC emulator players out there because I don't know how the hell you're going to play these games either way. But we got Dragon Quest IX and Pokemon Unbound, and I'll pass things over to our game master Steven for the game.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the game, and we're bringing back great game. So lame. And so in this simple game, I'm gonna bring up a game that might be in that sort of 7-ish range, and I want you to tell me great game or so lame, and then give me a 2-word descriptor of why you think it's so. So I'll just run around the panel, and then after we've gone around the panel, we'll have a 1-minute discussion, and give that final answer of whether it is a great game or it's just so lame. So without further ado, and I'm going a little bit outside of traditional video games. I've got a couple interesting ones.
Okay.
But we'll start with a video game, a legit classic, if you will. Eli, is Space Cadet a great game, or is it so lame? Does anyone remember what Space Cadet is?
Yeah, it's like Space Who?
Space Cadet is the pinball game on every Microsoft computer that we all played on our Windows XP at school.
I'm gonna say great game, awesome sound effects.
Oh.
Nice. Jonah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's 3 words.
I'm gonna say so lame.
Aw.
Don't remember.
That's what I was gonna say, dang it.
You're too young.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Mateo.
great game, computer class.
Ah,
Caden.
I'll say so lame. Play Minesweeper.
Ooh.
Dork. What a dork. All right, let's have a minute. Just so that we can talk about Caden being a dork. All right, 1 minute of chats. Let's go.
I think I was the only student in computer class that actually knew how Minesweeper worked. But anyway, go ahead, Mateo.
I was also one of the only students in class that knew how Minesweeper works, so your argument is oddly compelling.
So relatable.
But you have the choices of Solitaire, Minecraft, and Cadet. You got
Minecraft.
Never heard of it.
Man, it's a
Yeah, give us
pinball game, dude. It's so good.
Space
Space Cadet was rad.
And
It definitely was rad,
no
though.
one's playing Free Cell or Hearts. There was always that kid. I know how to play Hearts. I know how to play. No one cares.
I'd much
No
rather
one
play
cares.
Solitaire. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't bring Solitaire because everyone will just say great game.
I'm gonna stand by my great game. I'm standing by my great game on Space Cadet because
So you guys never played?
It is pinball.
No, I've never heard of it in my life.
That's wild.
I think I was.
Computer
Go
right-
ahead, Eli.
I said it's probably on your computer right now.
Oh man,
Right
I'm gonna look for it.
It's under your seat right now.
now it's got microtransactions. You have to actually pay a
Yeah.
quarter every time you want to play.
Exactly. All right,
Custom skin.
that's probably one of our first ones where we can't come to quite a consensus because we are literally.
I think you
Split
have to
down the
decide
middle.
for us since we're in the middle.
Well, if I'm the arbiter, Space Cadet, man, it was
All right,
dope.
let's go.
Okay,
It was
Space
sweet.
Cadet.
Same.
Great game. It's
All right, let's go back around. Now this one, man, this is all relative to how you interacted with, and I guess how many players interacted with it. Whack-a-mole, great game, so lame.
Oh,
Eli,
So lame, carnival scam.
Jonah,
great game.
carnival scam.
Carnival. No, we're gonna go. Aggression outlet.
Nice.
Ooh, Mateo.
We'll go great game. Smash heads, dude.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Caden.
Great game, Pokemon Stadium. Let's go. That big mini game.
Yeah, it was actually good.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
okay. Okay, I was like,
All right,
what?
one minute. So, did anyone ever have it where it's like if you get two people playing co-op, but you're actually hitting them too fast, and you end up getting a terrible payout? Like,
That's pretty good.
that's like the thing. The carnival scam is so true for me. Like it is so true.
I like to just like forgo like the little like the mallet and just use your hands.
You never use the mallet. It's hands
you got double
only.
mallets.
Yeah, it's hands only. And that's where I think it's like maybe it registers if you hit them within a second, it's like, no, you're not getting any tickets. Because we're gonna get like 150 tickets out of this bus. Like and just get like 15 tickets. What?
5 tickets.
Have you played the new like arcade whack-a-mole where it's like it's not a
you have to put your hands out?
Yeah, but you gotta like hit all the blue buttons and stuff as they light up. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Dude, that game rules.
Yeah, I think Caden brings up a good point. Whack-a-mole in video games is always very fun. Like they always make it
more
really fun.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, see, I definitely thought I'd get the controversial takes because the amount of times I've, walked away with only a bouncy ball from, going to get my tickets and realizing, man, my parents gave me $10 and I got a bouncy ball that costs like 50 cents. Sweet.
I'm not playing whack-a-mole for tickets. I'm playing whack-a-mole for the fun of the game.
Get the aggression out.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're opening up the pit.
Exactly. Put the AirPods in, blast the metal music. Let's whack some moles, baby.
There's like 2 4-year-olds on the ground behind you because he's been swinging elbows.
Going hard on the wind-up.
He's got the double bass going in the song, and he's matching that tempo with his hands.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. That's how I think we're going to have to say it's a great game. Just because, man, whether you have a bad time or a good time, it's memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true.
I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. This is a historical, I guess. Flop is possibly a big word.
Don't
is
say it.
Spore.
Oh,
a great game or lame. Eli,
Spore.
do you remember Spore at all? No.
Okay,
you can pass.
What a pass. Yeah.
So, Jonah.
So lame. Science sucks.
Gosh.
Mateo.
So lame. Dicks everywhere. Did you ever actually play this game?
What?
I think Caden might say otherwise.
Extend the abdomen out. Yeah. Caden.
All I got to go on is, I guess, great game, Metacritic 84.
I was really
did not expect it to be so high.
really hoping you'd say great game, dicks everywhere.
Wow. Well, I think we might forego this one because it sounds like we played it, but like, all I know is that I got so hyped on the lead up to it, and I bought it, and then like, the best part of the game is like a couple hours long, and then you get into this whole space adventure thing at the end, and it's just like, this kind of sucks. So yeah, it's like.
It's so lame. You are like, it's cool when you're just a creature trying to eat other creatures.
On one planet, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a whole you're almost doing Age of Empires. You're trying to convert people to your like clan and all that stuff. But then it becomes
religion.
just this.
With the monster growing.
And every planet you go to, I think they're like randomly populated by other people's creations. Everyone just made dicks. Everyone just made phallic-shaped
You can make a
creatures.
dick. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll go so lame on Spore.
Yeah.
All right, we reckon one more or two more?
Oh, let's do 2 more.
Let's do 2 more. Okay, this one, I have a very heated opinion about this.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Mousetrap. Great game, so lame, Eli.
I don't know this one either.
You don't know what
Board
Mousetrap is?
game, Mousetrap.
Man.
What's that age discrepancy between myself and you, Steven?
Obviously too much.
Mousetrap.
When we were
You
kids,
literally
we didn't have
make
board
a
games.
mousetrap, and then you play a board game while you're making the mousetrap.
No clue.
No clue.
No clue.
Jonah, do you know?
Oh man, when I was a kid, I was so hyped for this game, but I have to say, so lame. Too many pieces, too complicated. That's what we'll do. Too complicated.
Too complicated.
Mateo?
So lame. Play Crossfire instead. Get caught up in the Crossfire, in fact.
Ooh.
You're talking about
Is this a board game?
Crossfire
I don't know
X, right?
Crossfire.
That first-person shooter that tried to beat out Call of Duty. That
For
was
Remedy? Is Crossfire a board game? I have not heard of it.
You don't remember that one? It had like the most extreme like 90s commercial. It was like two
really?
dudes and they're floating in on these
Oh,
spinning things.
you're shooting the balls at each other.
Dude, actually don't play Crossfire. I lied. Because look, the commercial was rad. The commercial was so rad. But then you actually got the game and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we actually doing? Yeah. You just shoot like 100 little BBs at each other. That's it. Yeah. Yes, I do remember that.
Instead, audience, go play the Star Wars version of Battleship because it was voice acted every time you got a hit. It was awesome.
Battleship rules.
Caden, you are obviously too young to know what Mousetrap was.
Yeah, I guess so lame. Animal cruelty. I don't know.
Yeah. The biggest thing is it's so lame because you literally, the best part of the game is like you set up a mousetrap and then you just set it off. And it takes so long to set up, and usually you go around to a friend's place, they're missing one piece, and so the domino effect just doesn't work at all.
Man.
You basically build like a plastic Rube Goldberg machine, and that's the climax of the game.
Yeah,
cool.
That's kind of cool.
And then that's it. So it's a cool concept. It's just terrible in execution. All right, let's go to the last one. This is a possible spicy one. This is an entire industry of video game. This is, and quote unquote, this is on the title of those games.
Xbox.
Simulator games.
Oh.
Eli, are simulator games great or so lame?
Great game, Persona 5.
I don't think that had simulator on the top. I mean, like Farming Simulator 2025 or whatever.
Oh, you're like literally in the title. Literally
dating simulator.
Yeah.
Persona 5 high school dating simulator.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it's saying. Yeah.
Hey, he gave you 2 words. That's
sorry, Jonah. Yeah.
Great game, Goat Simulator.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Oh yeah.
Great game, Power Wash Simulator, dude.
Oh,
one of the best games that's released recently.
Wow, yeah, okay. Caden?
Great game, Euro Truck Simulator, baby.
Yes.
It's like, but you just play as a truck. Like,
yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's my.
I thought I'd have to have like Ryan on the podcast to get like a whole bunch of great games. Yeah. Everyone has a great point. Like, it's because it's such an intimidating to have in your title simulator is like so intimidating. But yeah, there's a lot of gold in there.
And then there's Untitled Goose Game. That's a goose simulator.
Goose Simulator. Yeah,
that's a goose simulator. Yeah.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, bro. Let's go.
Anytime anyone here wants to get into some serious like snow runner action, I will boot that up and we can go and move some trucks around a map.
Have you checked? Okay, speaking of like goofy games, goofy sim games, I've been watching Ryan Stubbs play a game.
Man, that Mars game.
Yeah, Mars First Logistics. Mateo, you need to look into
the
this
trailers
game.
For that.
What? It is so hilarious. It's like it's kind of like Kerbal Space Program, but without the repercussions of Kerbal Space Program.
It's a bit more like you're playing with Kinects.
Yeah, or Legos, and everything clicks
like Legos,
together.
Yeah.
It doesn't break. Your machines don't break. You just have to figure out the physics of the game.
Yeah, but the physics, still like,
it's so fun.
Sounds pretty legit.
It's super fun.
Trombone Simulator, dude.
Is that what that
Trombone
Champ.
Yes.
Oh, Trombone Champ. Have you seen that game? Oh my god, it's funny.
That's coming to Switch. We'll and you gotta use the Joy-Cons as the slide.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Steven, what is your pick for best simulator game? What would be your great game on this one?
Yeah, I am definitely on the outside of this one where it's like I want to like them. For some reason I get off on like menus and seeing all that shit in like Park Builders are probably the closest thing games I enjoy, but like I enjoy it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, ooh, I want this to work, and then when it doesn't, I just go, oh, fuck this game. And just
Steven, you gotta go The Sims, man. The Sims.
Yeah. Yeah, I was The Sims. Yeah, I was. But I only ever played the first one. But man, I am not an architect. I wanted to be an architect when I was a kid, and I did a little bit of like inner school like training in architects and stuff. Some CAD work. I did do that. But like, I just don't have the brain to think outside of literally a box. I go, because a square, you fit things in logically. I just could never do anything better than like a box house. Like it was just
All right. Well, simulators confirmed great games. We nailed it.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations, everyone. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Is that the end of your game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll do.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thanks so much for the game, Steven. A pleasure as always. Go ahead, Mateo.
Steven's new catchphrase. It'll do.
It'll do. You gotta do it with a mouthful of water, though. You gotta do it.
Well, folks, we made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. We did it. It's now time to go around for final thoughts. Eli, I'll pass it to you. Final thoughts can be just anything that's on your mind, anything you'd like to shamelessly plug. The floor is yours.
Oh, well, awesome. I just want to say thank you all so much for having me back. I really do feel like in some way our conversation, the first one that we had, put some positive mojo out in the universe and my career trajectory completely changed. So, hopefully it continues that way after this episode and not the exact opposite effect, like it cancels out.
Right. Yeah.
I'm hoping in 2 months we get the announcement that Eli is the main character in like an upcoming big anime. Let's put those let's put those vibes out in the world. Let's make it happen.
It's just a matter of time.
That's it.
Well, on that note, I will say I forgot to mention, this isn't me confirming anything. I'm just saying I forgot to mention that this year I finally did get the call up to go to Crunchyroll to record in studio. So now I've had the opportunity to do some background work for Crunchyroll shows.
That's
Just
awesome.
keep an eye out for announcements,
So
hopefully
good,
here in the future, that I'll book some more roles and you'll see me some more Crunchyroll projects.
Main character.
Sick.
Outside of that, I just want to say y'all do so great. The energy is so good. It's so fun. I love being here, and I can't wait to see where you all go and how the podcast continues to grow and evolve. So woo go team.
Thanks.
All right, Jonah. Final thoughts, Jonah.
Final thoughts. Always a pleasure having Eli back. Super stoked. Also, we got some Redbubble sales going on. I believe the week after this drops, we'll be doing a 30% off sale. So if you want to get any Gaiden merch or our show merch, that'll be up there. The Gaiden guys will talk about it too on their show. I want to thank all of our patrons for supporting us.
Thank me.
And
Jonah, thank me specifically.
Thank you, Mateo. I appreciate you for supporting us. You are a fantastic human being. Oh, I got a big papa. Oh my.
A vocal fry. What is going on here?
Anyway, thank you to all of our patrons. And if you guys are curious about any of the links, Redbubble, Patreon, or you're not part of the GGD community in the Discord, we have a link tree in the description. You can check out all of our links there. So like and subscribe.
Yeah.
I just sent over the shirts. Sent over the shirt link.
Yes.
It's not just Joe. You can get any of the Digidestined from the first season. So check out.
But Joe is the best character to get. So
I've heard.
Get it. Yeah. Look at that dude.
That is dope.
Badass.
All right, Steven, final thoughts.
Just want to shout out. I've been loving some board games recently, and I've got a local toy store that's got a heap of board games, and so just been picking some up for the kids here and there, like trying to get one because my daughter's 4 and my son's 7, so like we can run around that sort of 7 age because my daughter's pretty cluey, and we've been playing a game called Outfoxed. It's really really cool. It's sort of a catch the thief. So it feels a little bit like Cluedo in some respects, but you can either roll these dice and you can either look for suspects or you can look for clues. And if you're looking for clues, then you've got to move around the board. If you look for suspects, you can just do it straight away. But then every time you have to tell everyone what you're doing, whether you're looking for suspects or clues. Miss roll, and you get to roll 3 times. There's this like real good tension, but if you miss roll, then the thief, which is they're all foxes, gets to move like down the board, and so like obviously if they escape, they get away. And also if you just decide to solve it like in Cluedo, and if you get it wrong, then they get away. So yeah, it's like it's really cool. It's pretty simple, but you can high up the levels of difficulty by making the box move further, or having less rolls and stuff like that. So it's really really cool. Great game for kids if you love board games. So yeah, check it out.
Okay.
Sick. Well, as always,
You forgot Mateo.
I've been your host, Kido. Did I? Oh man, sorry, Mateo. Don't worry, I forgot Steven one time.
Stop. First of all, before other than saying sorry, say sorry to our patron.
Yeah,
I know. You're paying to be on this podcast that I just didn't. Please, Mateo, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I was watching the Friday the 13th series this weekend because it was Friday the 13th on Friday.
it was.
A lot of people a lot of people associate those movies with like kid like summer camp and like camp counselors and all that. There's really not a lot of those movies where they're actually like at a summer camp having summer adventures.
After the first 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's one with like telekinesis. Those movies get real weird, dude. They get real weird.
But Tommy Jarvis, top tier.
Mateo,
he's a hero, man.
Since you're into like spooky movies and stuff, you should check out Ice Nine Kills. It's a metalcore band. Like almost all of their music is about horror movies.
Thank God it's Friday. Look up Thank God It's Friday.
Yeah.
Great song.
Okay. I will add that to my list.
All right, Kaden.
I got nothing else, Kaden.
For real this time, I've been your host, Kate Birthday Lane, and my final thoughts are this podcast has run so long, my wife's probably going to fucking kill me.
Oh, no.
So excited to get me by.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN 719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time. I've got a couple good ones to go through. You ready? Spaghettis? I can't remember.
Are you ready, Spaghetti?
No, never.